What's up, folks? Today I'm here with No Straight Roads, a game like nothing I've ever played, and a game that includes one of the hardest missions, boss battles, whatever you want to call it. It was tough as hell. That's all I know. A game that sold me solely on the screenshots alone. Let's see if it was worth the purchase. As usual, if you enjoy this video, why not subscribe? And if you would prefer an audio-only version, the link is down below. Is No Straight Roads worth $40? Well, I'm about to tell you. My name is Tanner, and this is For Your Money. A different kind of review. As usual, story first. This game has a story we could all get behind, or as I would like to say, should get behind. A story that made me realize once again, I hate EDM. No Straight Roads is about Zook and Mayday, who are in a rock band named Bunk Bed Junction. Living in Vinyl City is not easy for a rock group when you're the only one left, while the city's talent is directed towards EDM artists. Zook and May aim to show their talents off on live TV, only to be shot down by the NSR because rock to them is no more. Maybe they weren't talented enough. But that wasn't the case when they saw how much energy their show produced. Enough energy to prevent the city from having further blackouts. But in efforts to keep rock dead, the NSR has now banned it, leaving Zook and May no other option but to overthrow the NSR and establish music freedom. Now, I had no idea what this game was about. I never even watched a trailer, nothing. I just bought it out of sheer blindness, and I have to say, this story caught me off guard. I mean, this is a story that wouldn't exactly work years ago. I mean, sure, it would have been cool, but seeing as how today's music has strayed so far from rock, it fits, and it's honestly genius and perfect timing. That, and the story's just fun. I mean, I know it sounds weird saying a story is fun, but this is not a usual story, and it's not taken with the utmost seriousness. Of course, there are some emotional scenes that will tug at some of your strings, but it's more fun than anything else. As for the ending, I mean, I gotta say, I never saw it coming. It wasn't anything life-changing, but it was shocking for what this story revolves around. Gameplay next. No Straight Roads is a good blend of mini games like titles that have you collecting items like Jak and Daxter or Gravity Rush, but at the center, at the core of the game, it is true hack and slash with its own unique twist. First and foremost, upon starting the game, you choose if you want to play co-op or not. So yeah, this game has co-op, and believe you me, they tried their hardest to incorporate it. For better or for worse, I'll explain in a minute. But first, missions and combat. Every mission in this game will end with you fighting a boss. The bosses being one of the top EDM artists, and as you would expect, every artist has security. So from start of the mission to the point leading up to the boss fight, you're battling their security. I mean, that's neat. It's just another way they took this game's theme and went as all out as they could. As for every boss fight, I mean, they're impressive and each are very different than the last. First and foremost, part of the combat for this game is obviously dodging attacks. But how to tell when an enemy is about to attack is the beat of the music. All enemies attack to a certain beat, and that's bosses included. So with every boss is a different genre of EDM, allowing for some unique beats that'll have you changing up your playstyle almost every time. Now keep in mind, this game was made by some talented folks who worked on Final Fantasy 15 and Street Fighter 5. So don't go into these boss fights expecting to be in and out. I mean, they do start off easy, and then they become tougher, and they become long. Some bosses have 2 phases, others have 3. And the last boss, I can't even tell you how many health bars that person had. Now for me, this added to the freshness of the game, seeing as I had no idea what to expect upon every boss encounter. For combat, you have 2 choices, Zook or May. You'll swap between them throughout the entire game. Most of the time it is your choice. There is one rare instance where it's not. Both have different playstyles. So Zook, he wields his drumsticks and can attack faster. Though dealing less damage, you're more likely to get in more attacks than May will. Mayday uses her guitar kind of like a warrior class in games. It deals devastating damage and is great for crowds. Though it is rather slow, that's just a sacrifice for more damage. Now, for me personally, I stuck with Mayday most of the game. Unless I was dying and I needed to heal, then I would switch to Zook. It was just my preferred playstyle. I'm not a fan of dual wielding, and I'm sorry to any Raphael fans out there. Now, since this is like other hack and slash games, there are combo meters, and both characters have mods they can put on weapons for special attacks, or they have abilities like healing when you're sustaining tons of damage, or creating a bubble of protection around you. And honestly, I was caught off guard with how well they handled the combat. I mean, they could have just added the hack and the slash and left it, but no. They added upgrades, mods, and buffs. All of these can be accessed through your HQ. Now, there are 2 forms of upgrading, characters and weapons. To upgrade weapons, you head over to Zook's workshop and you add stickers and mods to weapons, as well as select an ultimate duet. Stickers add the buff to weapons, such as extra % of melee or shoot damage, Mods give you different moves to do with the characters, and the ultimate duet is a devastating move that Zook and Mei can perform together. Now, mods and duets work kind of like the Breaker or Ultimates in Mortal Kombat. You'll have an energy bar above Zook and Mei's heads, and this allows them to perform their duet, or you can use that energy for your mods. As for the character upgrades, you'll do that in the underground gig section of the HQ. You can upgrade both characters individually as well as upgrade Bunk Bed Junction as a whole. Some upgrades you may not see a use for. My example would be you can upgrade the amount of ammo you have, or you can just acquire an upgrade that will allow you to heal after sustaining tons of damage, as I said before. So read carefully and consider how you play. I mean, it's really going to make a difference, even if you consider how small this game is. Now, to upgrade, you'll basically spend fans, and to unlock different tiers of upgrades, you must gain more fans. So in simple terms, imagine you have 10,000 fans. You can't exceed upgrade cost of 10,000 until you get more fans. Now, the way you earn more fans is first and foremost completing missions. But in between missions, you'll explore different sections of Vinyl City that you have taken over. In these areas, you'll have little collectibles called mini quazzas. They basically are just electricity in a tube, and since you're starting a music revolution by fighting the top artist and the city is powered by music, some of the city's power is off. So with these quazzas, you can restore things like fountains, vending machines, lampposts, etc. Doing so will reward you with fans, seeing as they're depressed and you're just trying to help them out. Now, this game isn't really a platformer at all, so you're not going to do a lot of it when you're exploring Vinyl City. You're more so there just to take in the design of the game, which it's honestly perfectly fine. But before I head there, I mentioned a mission that was just almost torturous in the intro. This is a boss fight or mission, which of the two? I'm not sure what to entirely call it, and I can't explain much due to spoilers, but pretty much you battle this person in a Guitar Hero style. You have two hands on screen, both are on separate tracks, and you're avoiding oncoming obstacles. This was honestly brutal, and the reasons for that would most notably be they wanted to add co-op. They wanted to incorporate it better than other games, and if I had been playing with someone, sure, I guess it'd be easier, but I wasn't. So I had to focus on the tracks at the same time, and sometimes the patterns were not the same. So you're going to be using, at least I was, your left and right stick to control these two hands and bob and weave out of two different patterns at the exact same time. It's fucking tough. I get it though, you want co-op to feel like a team accomplishment, but still, there should have been some kind of option for single players like myself. As for bugs I encountered, there were quite a few. The minor one would be the characters tweaking design during cutscenes, nothing too much right there. Then in some scenes, the entire screen shakes, and I'm 99% positive that this shaking was not intended for immersion, because that does the exact opposite. I also had a bug that glitched Zook in a wall during a boss fight. So when I needed to switch out Mei because I was dying, I couldn't fight the boss. In fact, I could only take damage. And eventually Mei got stuck in the wall as well, so I just had to die and start the entire boss fight over because this game does not know what a damn checkpoint is. And lastly, some of the camera angles are rather terrible. I mean, especially the one in the final boss fight. The camera doesn't exactly pan the right direction at times, and that once again can mean life or death. Overall, I like the gameplay. I mean, I didn't know what to quite expect. I just knew this was a smaller game, so any expectations I had, they were shallow. So when I see tons of upgrade options, a good bit of gameplay variety, and the fact that they really wanted to use the theme of music as much as they could, I was blown away. And then some of the bugs hit, and those are the biggest downsides, especially whenever I glitched to that wall. I mean, I was mad because one issue is this game's checkpoints are non-existent. The only checkpoints are at the beginning of the level and right before the boss fight. So when you die from something you can't control, yeah, you're gonna lose it. I said before I bought this game literally from screenshots, meaning the design alone sold me. So the art style of this game is just grabbing. It's either going to sell you or it won't. A lot of the time I would get a Jet Set Radio Future vibe, but yes, this world is way more vivid than that game was. And of course, back to the devs trying to expand the music idea, the city fit perfectly. To get to a new location, you had to put a vinyl in a record player and you would rock out while the city moved in a circle to a new area. I mean, seriously, these devs had to have had fun with the entirety of this game. With any music being the center of attention in a game, the sound has to be more than great. And they were, minus the EDM. But I gave an exception because you're a rock band trying to rid the city of EDM. The music sounded damn good. I was impressed with the guitar solos. I mean, they were wicked. One thing with the sound, though, is this isn't a complaint as I can't prove anything. It just popped in my head every time Mei talked. At times, it sounded like she had an accent, and at other times, she would lose it. I could just be going crazy. Other than that, the voice acting was A+. So here's some clips of the overall design.
Have you no shame? Pew, 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 pew. I won't allow you to do this.
Two shallots peeled and cut into quarters. Some red pepper flakes, very essential by the way, and 6.
Can you please stop punching my TV? Why did you even punch it this time?
Hey, look, I've already scrolled through all the channels and I couldn't find a single news about NSR. That chef had it coming.
Is that really the excuse you're going with?
Yeah, I mean, what's up with her hair, man? Ugh. And she kind of looks like Tatiana's sister.
Ugh, forget it. There's only one way to end this.
Right you are, Zook! Red light!
Green light!
To me, No Straight Roads is worth $25 out of $40. This game was a shot in the dark for me. I had no clue, and I was sold on the screenshots. Well, that and the fact that some of the people from Final Fantasy 15 and Street Fighter 5 made it. But it suffers from some bugs, and of course the challenging level, which features tons of great story, so it's important to get that fixed up one way or another as soon as possible. Well, that's all I got, folks. If you enjoyed this video, why not subscribe? If you did not, then hit that thumbs down. Till next time, fellas.